Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this video, I am going to talk about the capacity facility location problem, or you can say capacity plant location problem, which is usually modeled as a mixed integer linear programming model. So the problem over here is the mathematical model of the capacity plant location problem is that we want to minimize the total cost, that is the fixed cost, because J is indicating, or the index J is indicating the facility, or you can say the plant, whereas I is representing, the index I is representing the customer. So this is basically the fixed cost. So Y is basically a binary variable. If we have established a plant at a particular location, at a jth location or not. Okay, so that means this would be 1 if we have located the plant at the jth position. It would be 0 if we haven't located the plant at the jth location. Fj is representing the fixed cost, whereas this one is representing the transportation cost, which we are shipping from facility J to fulfill the demand for the customer I. So this is the per unit cost, and this is the quantity which we are shipping from jth facility to ith customer. And then we have the 3 constraints. One is that we have to meet the demand, right? That the total quantity which we are shipping from jth facility to ith facility, that must be fulfill the demand of the ith customer. The second one is if we have said, or you can say if we are using the jth facility, that it can be sent the quantity to fulfill the demand up to mth, you can say the quantity. So mj is representing the capacity of this particular jth facility. So this is on-off constraint, because if this is one that particular facility we are using, and how much quantity we can send from this particular facility, that is mj, right? That is basically the indicating the capacity of that jth facility. And how much quantity, that is we are calculating, which is to fulfill the demand of the ith customer from the jth facility. And the last constraint we have, that is basically that if the jth facility is used, so the quantity which we are sending from jth facility to I, that must be less than or equal to I. And in the end, we have a non-negativity constraint. So how we can implement this one? That is in a Python. So I'm using, first of all, we need to call the package which is called as PuLP. So either you can use from PuLP import static or simple import PuLP, but I would recommend use this particular command from PuLP import static. So we have called this library, and then because we are using this particular example, so in this particular example, how many customers we have? We have 5 customers and we have 3 facilities. So that is basically I index, and facilities are the jth index, right? So we need 2 lists. One is representing customer, that is I5, and facility, that is J. So we have 3 facilities. Next, we need to write down the demand. So we need to tell that customer 1 how much quantity they are demanding, customer 2 how much quantity they are demanding. So for that I have used the dictionary of the Python. So the data structure dictionary we have used to declare this data, that is demand is equal to from customer 1 colon sign the demand of the customer, customer 2 colon sign the demand of the second customer, and so on. Then we are writing down basically the maximum capacity. So all 3 facilities have the maximum capacity is 500. So we are writing down the maximum supply, or you can say the capacity of the facility, that is basically facility 1 colon sign. So again we have used that dictionary to declare the maximum capacity. Similarly, we have used the dictionary to declare the fixed cost. So that is, this one is the fixed cost for all 3. Okay, so we have declared the maximum supply, or you can say the capacity. We have declared using the dictionary of fixed cost. We have declared the demand from all the customer. The next thing we need to declare is that is the transportation cost from facility J to customer I. So for that, we can use dictionary within a dictionary. So how we can declare that the transportation cost is that is from facility 1, so colon sign, and then this is the first dictionary. Then in a dictionary we are declaring from facility 1 to customer 1 what is the transportation cost, from facility 1 to customer 2 what is the transportation cost. So using this, we have declared the list, that is this one. Let me run this one. Similarly, we have run this command, this one, using run button. And then now after declaring the indexes and after indexing the data set, now we are going to define the problem. So using the PuLP function, that is LP problem, and the two parameters are we should write down the name of the problem in double quotes, right? And make sure that there should be no space. So you can write in space, but it will give you a warning message. So if you didn't use the space, then it will be fine. Okay. So the next one is we need to tell that whether the objective function is maximization case or a minimization case. So this is a minimization case. So that's why we are writing down LP minimize. So make sure the L is capital, M is capital, right? And we are storing this command in a function that is CFLP. So this variable is very important because in this particular variable, we are indicating that what kind of problem we are going to solve, as well as we will store in this variable the objective function as well as the constraint. But before that, before storing the constraints and the objective function in this variable, we need to define the decision variable. So the first step is, after declaring the data, is set the problem, whether you want to maximize the problem or minimization. So we have defined it, that is we want to minimize our total cost. Okay, so the decision, we have two types of decision variable. One is y type of variable, and another is the ij type of variable. Yj is basically we have indicating the variable as use facility. So okay, so this is a binary type of variable, right? So if it is 1, that means we are using that particular facility. If it is 0, then we will say we are not using that facility. So for that, we are using the PuLP function, that is LP variable. Make sure LP capital, V capital, dot dist, because the data we have declared in a dictionary form, that's why we have to use dot object function, that is dicts. Then we are writing down the name. Basically, whatever you will write when we are getting the decision variable answer, you will see this thing in the answer, that is use facility, right? And then this one is we are writing down the index, that is the facility. So we have 3 facilities. So we are saying yj1, y1j, sorry, y1, y2, y3. So what kind of these variables are? These are the LP binary, right? So we have to tell whether this variable is continuous or integer or a binary. So we are indicating that this is a binary variable. So this one is basically indicating the lower limit of this variable. This one is indicating the upper limit. So because this is the binary variable, so the lower value is 0, the upper value is 1. So if it is a continuous, because by default PuLP is using the LP continuous, that means by default PuLP is saying that a particular variable is a continuous variable. So if that was a continuous, then there is no need to write. But if it is an integer or a binary, then you have to write down whether it's a binary or a integer. So that's why we have written down LP binary, and the lower limit, and we have written down the upper limit. Okay, the second variable we have, that is basically xij. Okay, that is basically, you can say, serve customer. So that means ith customer is served from jth facility. So that's why I just name it as serve customer, whatever you want to use the name of the variable. Again, I'm using the same command, service, and then I'm saying from ith customer to jth, right? So we are indicating that is for I in customer and j in customer. That is basically xij, right? Comma 0. So that this 0 is basically the lower limit, because xij is a continuous variable. So that's why we there is no need to mention that it's a continuous variable, as well as there is no upper limit is available. So that's why there is no need to mention the upper limit. Okay, so once we have declared the decision variable, now we can store our objective function in this CFLP, which we have defined earlier. Okay, so how we can calculate the objective function? First one is a fixed cost, another one is a transportation cost. So the fixed cost of the facility we can calculate using this one. That is LP sum, that is again the function of the PuLP, comma, that is a fixed cost. So we have declared the fixed cost from facility J, that is jth multiplied by used facility, that is yj. The used facility is basically the decision variable, right? So this is the fixed cost multiplied by the used facility yj for j in the facility, that is the facility over here, plus. So this one is a fixed cost for either we are you can say developing that particular or establishing that particular facility or not. The next one, we have a transportation cost, that is Cij Xij, that is transportation cost of jth facility to ith, that is this one. Okay, multiply by serve customer, right? So that is this decision variable is, that was this serve customer from ij, where for j in facility and I in customer. So we have defined the objective function as well. And that objective function is, again, we have assigned this objective function to CFLP. Okay, so next we need to define the constraint. So we have three constraints. The first one is the demand constraint. So how we can do that? We need to give the loop for I in. Okay, so for I in customers, right? CFLP plus equal to LP sum. Serve customer ij for j in facility, that is basically this one, j in facility, xij is equal to dij. So that is serve customer is representing the decision variable. For j in facility must be equal to demand I for I in customer. So this is a demand constraint. The second one is, if j in facility, okay, then LP sum serve customer for I in customer must be less than or equal to the maximum supply, which is mj, that is this one. Okay, so must be less than or equal to maximum supply multiplied by yj, that is if we are using that particular facility, then we should send the quantity less than or equal to the maximum supply from that facility. Okay, last one we have, that is for I as well as j. So that's why we are using multiple loop. So for I in customer and for j in facility, we are saying serve customer, that is xij must be less than or equal to demand I multiplied by the binary variable, that is use facility. Okay, so now we have declared the objective function. We have declared the all three constraints, all three set of constraints. Now we are going to, next thing is we need to solve that. So we are using the variable in which we have stored the entire problem of the linear programming problem. That is basically the objective function, objective, you can say problem name, that what kind of problem we are going to solve, as well as the constraint. Okay, so next we need to solve it. But before I am going to solve it, let show you that what kind of mathematical model it is look like. So we can write down, because I have stored entire problem in CFLP. So I can, if I run this command, I can see that the entire math model, right? So I want to minimize it, the name of the object problem, then what's the objective function, what are the constraints. So these are the demand constraint, these are the facility constraint, and so on, right? So these are all the set of constraints we have, okay? As well as it is telling us which variable is an integer variable and which one is a continuous type of variable. The next thing we need to solve it with the variable name in which we have stored the problem, entire problem dot solve. That is a PuLP function. If I run this, uh, what's happened? So let's me run this again. Okay, just 1 minute. That is run this. Okay, so after running it, we are getting the one. So one is indicating that the problem is optimally solved. So we can also print the exact status. So we can use this particular command, print solution status, that is the exact thing which we want to print, LP status. So that is indicating that the problem is optimally solved. Now, in order to get the answer of the CN variables, so you can do that with the help of this one. That is for V in CFLP, that is dot variable. That is a variable in which we have stored the entire problem, dot variable. And then we are saying print V dot name. That means print the variable name which we have written down over here. What was the variable name? That is the use facility for the binary variable and service for the continuous variable. Okay, then we are saying name of print the name of the variable equal as well as its value. After equal, write down the name answer of the variable. So if we run this command, so we are getting the answer, that is service one, mean customer one should be from facility one to customer one, how much quantity we should send. From facility 2 to customer 1, how much quantity we should send. From facility 3 to customer 1, how much quantity we should send, and so on. At the end, we are getting the facility. So that means there is no need to establish facility number 1. So there is only need to establish facility number 2 as well as 3. And so that means all 5 customers' demand can be fulfilled from facility 2 to facility 3. So there is no need to establish the facility 1 at that particular location, right? And we can fulfill the demand of all 5 customers. So this one is the overall answer, but if you want that, because we can see that some of the decision variables are answer are 0, so you can use this command after the for loop, that if v dot var value is 0 greater than 0, then print the variable name and value. If that is 0, then there is no need to write down. So here we are getting the exact answer. So you can see that there is no facility 1, only 2 and 3, and we are fulfilling all the 5 customers' demand. And at the end, we are writing down the objective function's answer. So you can use this function to get the answer of the objective function. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Please do subscribe this channel. Thank you so much.